I feel like we don't even think about it. I feel like we know going in that we have a lot of games on the road, so I don't think we place any more importance on it, starting there or starting at home. I think it's a good challenge. I think we'll see how it turns out, and I think it'll be good for us.
Last year, obviously, pitching really came along the second half, and you guys won a lot of games.
Yeah.
How do you guys start fast and remain that way through the season?
Well, I think placing importance on these inter-squad games, like getting up for them, I think is the biggest deal. We played each other a lot, so that makes it tough, I think facing another team will just get us going right away, get the adrenaline pumping, and I think that'll be good for us.
How's that group look like right now? Just trying to get that going, and new names in there. Just who has impressed you and could be around you?
I brought in. I didn't bring him in. I convinced the coaches to bring in Hunter Day from Tarleton State. He obviously had a great year last year. He moved from Sunday to Friday, so I have a lot of faith in him. I think Beaver's great. We didn't have any lefty arms last year, so I think having a guy that's low 90s up to mid 90s is great for us. Ferg will be great, obviously. We got a lot of arms that I think can actually compete this year, which is good. A lot of strike throwers. I think it's an overall improvement.
So you brought in a pitcher. That's what I heard there.
I played with him at Nyack, and we're buddies, and we trained a lot. We're both from Minnesota, neighboring. Played him in high school, and we wanted to play another year together, and he's in the portal, so I told him to come over here.
Coach keeps trying to tell us it's not a big deal for him going out after this season. What's it like to the locker room? Just is that a point of conversation at all?
No, I wouldn't. So the way he brought it up was we were talking about like bunt coverages one day. We had a team meeting, and all of a sudden he just steps aside and he goes, "I just letting you guys know I'm retiring after this year." And we walked out and we started practice, and it was like everybody was like, "What just happened?" But the way it got brought up is the way like everybody's treating it. It's just not a big deal. Nobody's really thinking about it. I think at the end of the year, people realize and acknowledge that it was his final year, but right now it's definitely not at the top of our mind.
It's kind of perfect way for him to do it.
That's how he wants it.
It's just the way he announced it.
Yeah,
hey,
definitely.
Guys, I'm doing this, and walks out.
For sure.
Sounds like
it was. Yeah, definitely. Definitely doesn't want it on him.
What's your pitch mix, and is there a certain pitch you were really working on during the off season?
Yeah, I throw a fastball, a cutter, slider, curveball, and changeup. My slider's always been my best pitch. I kind of lost it toward the second half last year, but I definitely got it drilled down right now, and I think that's where I've made the biggest jump in my game.
Speaking of jumps, right, this team can make a big jump this year with the hot streak you guys had. A lot of good bats, pitching's getting better, solid. Mm-hmm. What is the jump that you want to see the team make besides winning more games? Anything in your mind, short-term goal, long-term goal?
No, I think this team, I like this team more because from the compete standpoint. I think we have a lot more guys that can just go out there and compete. And I feel like last year we had a lot of talent. Talent is good on paper. But when you give guys that can go out there and be dogs and compete, I think that's what matters and can win you more games.
Coach said something about how, hey, we're not going to be disappointed. No one's going to be disappointed in our offense. When you hear something like that, as a pitcher, what does it say to you in terms about keeping the run prevention and all the things that you guys are going to bring to the game?
Well, I feel like G always leaves the pitching to the pitchers, so he doesn't place a lot of importance. He doesn't think about the pitching a lot, so his focus is on the offensive side. So we just kind of do our own thing, and we'll make our own strides, and we'll let him acknowledge it when it happens.
At one point, you guys had like a 9-game win streak, so what was just clicking, and what do you hope to see again this season when it comes to that?
Yeah, we had a streak there where we were just hitting home runs like nobody else. I think that's just part of the game. Sometimes they'll go out, and sometimes they won't. So I think part of this year, I think a lot of the hitters have made a jump. 2 strikes, putting the ball in play. Just more of a contact hitting team. I think they'll push across a couple more runs here and there, which can make the difference.
As a pitcher, you have to love that kind of preseason hype for run support.
Right.
So how does that, in your mind already, give you guys a little more confidence on the mound to maybe turn it loose or just throw your pitches and not try to steer them as much?
Yeah, when you have an offense that can strike like that for 2, 3, 4 in an inning, if you give up too early, it's not a big deal at all. I feel like if you give up runs early and then in an outing, if you don't have a great offense, that kind of makes you worrisome. You have to pitch a little bit more conservative. Whereas if you have an offense that can strike at any time, makes it a little bit more comfortable.
What's it like working with Leach? Just coming in here, catcher was kind of a question at times last year. It seems like he stepped in, has turned into being that guy for you guys.
Yeah, I've worked with all the catchers. I like working with him just because of his experience. He's worked with obviously a lot of high-level pitchers, so I think that's a plus for me. I like his confidence back there. He seems to obviously know what's going on, and I'm excited to see how the season goes with him.